You delete it. Hi guys, welcome to another Crypto EMC episode. Today we're going to be looking at top 5 gems. I've got a few things that I wanted to share with you regarding what Bitcoin is going to do. And I think the important thing is when we look at these top 5 gems is that between me and Peter, we're pushing buttons here. So just excuse us. It's live. And remember, so Bitcoin does play a big role. So let's just quickly have a look at BTC and where that lies in with the top 5 gems that I want to share. But in all honesty, in all reality, I'm going to be sharing more than just 5. We're going to be looking at a lot more alts because we're in a situation in the market where there's enough stress. I feel that it's time to start deploying some capital. Okay, so Bitcoin in short, on the daily time frame, prices sold off considerably. Now let's take a little bit of a memory recap. So a while ago, we got really good buys. And I explained to you guys that I didn't want to see that buy because if that buy zone goes into that area, it changes the dynamic of the momentum. And lo and behold, once price moved into that zone, you could see it just overshot. So from that point of view, we were accurate. Okay, we also wanted price to continue on higher, and from that point of view, we failed. But now that we have more information, it's the same thing all over again. It's like buying one of these buys, and we just need to define where we are. So in short, looking at the daily time frame, what we have at the moment is a confirmed really strong hidden bullish divergence. Bitcoin is not ready to give up. Okay, it's not ready. And before you start looking at bearish divergences and you always put your hidden bullish divergence above all. That's the strongest divergence out there. Okay, so what do I mean? Our really good buy that we made at 57K. Price is still above that, but the RSI has now clearly shot below that. Hidden bullish divergence. And it's not me that made up the rules. This is simple technical analysis. It's a continuation. Price has not made a lower low. People are bearish as shit though because it sold off heavenly. And the RSI is the basically the signal that tells us, hey, look at this. People have panic sold. So you've got divergence. You don't have harmony in a trend at the moment. So this sell-off isn't in harmony. It has been over-exaggerated. Okay, so that's really good. So where do we enter? Well, from a trading point of view, this is the last little bit of information I gave everybody on the Discord from a trading point of view. So I'm looking to grab some bargain buys on leverage. And this means that for alts like Ethereum and some of the other coins, you can see that, the weekly, and maybe let's just do this so you can actually see that weekly candle. It's turning into what? Some dojis, or gravestone dojis, some reversal patterns on the weekly time frame, which doesn't mean that come next week, we can't go and have an overlap. And that's that overlap scenario that I want to try and point out for you guys. That means that we might have some really good buys upon our hands. So overlap, what I mean, the weekly closes as is or a little bit higher, and you have a nice doji candle or a reversal gravestone doji or whatever terminology you really want to use. But the technicals tells us that there is demand in that wick. So there will be an overlap. Price will probably overlap with that wick and continue onwards. And that's in there where we want to grab some of our alt buys, which means that they're going to be doing well. Now, guys, when it comes to bull market or bear market, I said this earlier in the previous stream, price does not favor anybody. In the bull market, everything pumps from great projects to bad projects. In the bear market, everything dumps from great projects to bad projects. So it's only within the normal trading ranges where you can see the good from the bad and the growth in the socials, the growth in the wallets, and. But other than that, when it comes to these things from a technical point of view, there is no prejudice. I don't care. I'm looking at the TA and I'm trying to identify really good buys that's going to put profit in my money. So, it's Friday. Profit in my pocket. Okay. So to round things off with BTC, we still haven't changed the trend. Okay. So let's be honest with each other. This is still not changed. Okay. But when we have steep trends like these break, there will be a reaction. And the only risk signs that we have with any of these things is, say we do have this buy and we break the trend, then we have a clear pivot in the RSI. where we would want to try and avoid creating hidden bearish divergence like we did that time. And that should or could potentially be as high as 70K again. Think about it. The market tends to take the most punishing journey to get to its objective. Meaning, if we were to go from 60 back to 70 again, and then right back down again, how frustrated and irritated will a lot of people be in the market? And typically, the market will take the most punishing route. So the route least expected, most wanted, least expected, that's what it wants to do. So remember that, guys. Okay, so that being said, let's quickly head over to your comments. Just want to say hi to you guys. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Let's see, we've got Vitaly for a second time on the stream today. Thanks so much for joining. Hello, Mr. John Snow. Anna, you here again. Hello, Peter. Let's see what else. Scooby Snacks. Good morning. Yes, my buddy. Good morning. Utah's here as always. And then second commenter for the day, Mr. GN Crypto Geek from Brighton. How are you doing, my friend? Okay, guys. So now that we have a little bit of an idea of what Bitcoin is going to hold and that Bitcoin's on a buying, in a good buy zone, these buy zones, these alts that I'm going to share is equivalent. I've sold out and got signals equivalent to some of the alts that we bought here. And that's where the crazy remark comes in, that some of these could even go as high as 50x. Okay, so bear with me, because some of this might not look like sound and it might not look like it's possible given the current conditions. But remember, good buy zones look bearish. At this stage, a lot of people were extremely bearish. Okay, just like good sell zones look extremely bullish. It's important to know the difference. Okay, a good buy zone will never jump out at you and say, look at me, I'm so bullish. That's normally the worst time to buy. Okay, so the alts that we're going to be looking at is that. So I'm going to go over to the altcoin screen and I'm going to take away the RSI and we're going to continue on with the list that we had this morning. I still have a few coins that I just quickly want to work through. So the first one on the list is a continuation, and I'm just going to switch over to the line tool, is called PATEX. So this was one of the coins that you guys asked me to have a look at. Now, if you look at this weekly time frame, we can maybe scale this down to the daily time frame. You can see PATEX is clearly trending down. I like using the line tool when we talk trends because it takes away all the noise. Okay, bring in the RSI. What is important? You want to see the RSI doing the opposite of what price is doing. It's currently trying to do just that. So from a risk-taking point of view, one can argue that there's strong bullish divergence forming in that scenario and that there is a clear bearish trend. So if it wants to turn around, it's going to use this divergence to try and get above that trend line. It's at that stage where you can clearly see the height of this RSI. It will suffer from hidden bearish divergence. So it's going to have another wave down. So whether it then makes a lower low, that's where the risk taker money is going to be. So because this thing is trending down so heavily, I wouldn't want to necessarily try and time the bottom here. Wait for that to play out. And when it does, you'll have a clear, strong demand zone to pull off from. Okay. That's just because this is small, new, and yeah, I don't have a lot to work off with. Okay. Another one that was requested a while ago is SUIP or SUIPAD. Okay. Now, as I said, when you have these imbalances, and I explained this nicely this morning, when you have these imbalances in price falls too fast, too quickly. Price will go and revisit that range because it's got unfinished business. And that's what we call the imbalance, okay? There's unfinished business. So for the same reason how a price can fall really fast and price will go and revisit that sometimes, the same thing will happen from a bullish perspective. So there, the unfinished business from the sell-off has now been concluded. And now there's unfinished business from the buy, okay? So let's move this over there. There's unfinished business sitting right there, and price is trying to recapture that liquidity. So this is really good. You can see the RSI is strongly turning bullish. I mean, this thing sold off heavily, strongly turning bullish with strong bullish divergence. But the trend will most probably only be broken once we get above that and combat any hidden bearish divergence. So what does this mean? Yet again, guys, this is a good buy long term, not now. You're planting the seed for 6 months minimum down the road. It's going to come back up to this area, probably won't make a higher high, but the RSI will be flying. And then it will start grinding sideways. You're buying there now. This is the beginning of the next this. Okay. The longer this thing is boring and dead and feels like it's not doing anything for you, the bigger the explosion will be when price refines its footing. Okay. The trick though is to deploy capital that you can afford to let sit on the shelf for 6 months. That's the key here. Don't try and throw all your money in here because I need to recover all my losses and then see how everything else pumps, and then this thing takes 6 months before the move happens. You're going to be kicking yourself. So don't do that. A little bit, plant the seed and forget about it. Or even take a trade, and with the profit you make from that trade, buy this and forget about it. That's how this thing's going to do really well. Okay. NGL, let's have a look at this. Also, you can clearly see it is finding a floor. It's price discovering to the downside. You're trying to make strong bullish divergence. Okay, so you're trying. You've got it. Okay, but yet again, important thing is that price needs to regain this pivot, and then when it does this, it's got a high RSI there. So potentially, you can have a scenario where it does this and sits right there above that line before it moves. Okay, so now what do you want to do? Same thing. You can choose. You can either have what's this thing called? SUIPAD, or you can have NGL, whatever floats your boat, but just put a little bit of money in this because the potential that this is going to give you when it works is quite high. I mean, just to get to these highs is 500%. Okay, so it's not a 50x, it's not one of the 50x coins that I want to share with you guys, but they do have really good potential. High risk though, so just treat them carefully. Another one that was asked for is Root. Now, this has got a long flat liquidity with insane spikes. It tells me that there's very little trading liquidity when it comes to this one. So preferably, I would wait on this one. Just straight up with you guys. It's on the bearish side of things. This is neither here nor there. I would preferably just it's one of those where if it was my money, I would just not be in it. Okay. Yes, there can be spikes, but the thing is, none of these spikes, as you can see, none of these spikes are locked in gains. So what's the point of being in something that you can't lock in gains? So it's not making me long-term money. So if I'm going to risk something in this one, change the trend. Change the trend from doing this to the upside, and then I will consider sitting into something like this. And because it's doing something, because it's chopping up and down, trying to just find liquidity, the risk is that it can sweep out all this and then go price discovery to the downside. And that's why I would rather not want to touch on it. Okay. Now, when we look at this Pendle, another one that you guys requested for, this is a more of a take profit coin rather than get in on coin. You can clearly see that we've lost the 23.6. There is hidden bullish divergence. So it's trying to make a higher high, but it failed the last time round. So typically, you can add risk, but you're playing with this one. You're playing the continuation of trend gain. Okay, so what does this mean? So now you need to kind of stick to a trend line. Okay, so if it falls below the trend line, the continuation of the momentum is gone. So you can argue that that's a really good buy zone. You're buying the 38.2, but because we've got strong bullish divergence and we sold off and we're below the 23.6, I would rather say to myself, there's enough time for Bitcoin to grind sideways or, chop around for this coin to find its way back down to a really good buy zone. And the best coin that I can use as a really good example for this, just to kind of support the method behind the madness, is Bitcoin Cash. It went into our buy zone yesterday. Okay. So not yesterday, this week. It finally went there. And we were looking at this there at 600. And I said, wait for the 375. And it got there. So trust the TA, guys. As simple as that. Don't overthink things. Okay. Let's go through the last few coins, and then I'm going to share mine. The next one we need to go through is Chronos. So this one is looking bullish where it's at. Why? Because we've gotten into a situation where it's potentially now doing this, okay, and going to try and make a head and shoulders, fall short, and then correct. But it's big picture, just trying to find a floor for itself. And you know what I'm going to say. Look at that gap. At some stage, price needs to still get into that gap. So the fact that it's doing something like this means that it can go as high as that. There's hidden bullish divergence there. You weight the hidden bullish divergence over everything else. And this is a nice one to start taking up on some risk. Okay. Where do you invalidate this? If you want to put some risk onto your portfolio there. Because price can fall and go, but if it loses that hidden bullish divergence, it's just a lower low. Now it's trending down, and now it's going to hurt you. So there's your risk. Anywhere from where it's now to about 7 cents is where you need to understand this thing can still chop around. RSI is telling me it's not quite ready for a bottom signal. It's jumping up, so it's going to create hidden bearish divergence at some stage on a smaller time frame. Now for this trend, so it needs to take a little bit of time in that area. But this is a really good buy for that long term. So I like this one, to be honest with you. And then from that point onwards, TP, there's a 2x, 3x. Okay, nothing more than that. It's not a 50x, but it's a really good, solid play. Link's a really good example of, filling the gaps, okay? And now it's still suffering from gaps there. So it's not showing me any real strength here, okay? So my Link, I would maybe $10. $10 is still going to be the area where we want to try and wait for Link, okay? Yes, it can run away from me, but remember, we did get really good buys here at the bottom. So I'm allowed to be cheap. Just remember this, okay? Litecoin, we've already touched on. It was another request. And then this is the one that I want to quickly have a look at. And this is XLM, Stellar. This is to the BTC pairing. Now, take note. You can see how this thing is sold off to BTC. And at this stage, yes, you can argue if you scale up the time frame, we may be turning around there, lower low, higher low on this. But it's got its work cut out for it because it's lost critical support levels. So even if this thing outperforms BTC for a little while, it's going to be short-lived because it needs to chop before it's going to start trending around. Okay, so this one is something that it might be a good buy from that point of view if you want to try and get that move done. But long-term, it's probably not ready. So you can see from a pricing point of view, what do we have on the RSI? We don't have any overstressed conditions. It's just cheap. So for me, XLM is not a touch at the moment. I don't want to deal with it at the moment. Do this. Find your fitting breakout or give me some move, and then I will reconsider this. But for now, XLM is dead for me. Okay. Veracity, and this is a tricky one because you can see what it's doing. It's trying to find some sort of a flaw in this price action. But yet again, look at that RSI, look at where price is. It's deleted its hidden bullish divergence. So the hope that it was going to move back up to this area is gone. So Veracity is probably going to do price discovery, or best case scenario, move to this gap over here at around 4 cents where you can maybe look to exit if you're in, or if you're drowning in this, because it needs to do this, die down before it's going to make another big move. So Veracity is going to be off my radar for a long time. Now, here's something that looks on plain sight. If you just look at it quickly, it looks a lot like the XLM explanation I'm saying, because this is LQTY liquidity against BTC pairing. But here's the distinctive differences, okay? To the BTC pairing, it's creating strong bullish divergence. It's telling you that it's getting to a point where it's oversold, okay? So it is trying to build up strength, okay? Yes, it's got gaps that it needs to jump, so massive resistance going to be sitting at these price points. But if I head over to the stable pairing, the dollar pairing, you can see now that it's trying to turn this correction around. So we filled this gap. So we filled the imbalance in price. Okay. We're trading there, and we're trying to turn this trend or correction around with strong bullish divergence. Okay. We just had hidden bearish divergence. So this one has already now sold off. We just had the hidden bearish divergence close to the end of the wave. So now what price needs to do is recapture this, make a higher high so that we can delete this. So how that's going to play out and when that's going to play out, we need to be mindful about that. But yet again, then look at that little gap there. So it almost is inviting me to say, get in a little bit, because what it's going to do is due to the nature of the imbalances, the sell-off of price, it wants to fill that gap and then come back down, and then you can add to the position. If it's too risky for you, then this is what you need to do. Wait for this thing to break whatever this is. this trend or whatever you want to call this. Remember, I'm just doing these things on line tools because I want to take away the noise for you guys. Okay. Closing prices in the end of the day, what we settle on. That's when the negotiation has concluded. That's the important information. Okay. And when you look at this, retail would like to see this. Okay. Once they can draw a line like this thing will do well. Okay. It's lining up to the BTC pairing. It's showing that it's getting there. Okay. So if we have a look at Phantom real quick, Phantom was one of those that's requested. It's got a gap. It's filling the gap. I feel like it might still need to go down a little bit more. The buy zone that I shared with you guys was this. This was the continuation of momentum. And it could still very well hold on to that. But looking at the RSI, looking at things now, every time there's a new candle, there's a new opinion that can be formed. And for me, looking at this, I think we're probably going to be looking at a 45 center before Phantom's really going to turn around. Now, this is still a big player and still going to make you a lot of money going forward. But yeah, I think that's going to be the best play. I think on the other alternative setups, this is kind of almost in an alternative buy. But yeah, Phantom, I would be a little bit reluctant to move on with. Okay, so another one, yep. So you can see this one is trying to fill this gap. At this stage, you can see that it's going to create hidden bearish divergence really quick. Okay, so I would rather use any success that this coin brings me in price action as an excuse to get out. Okay, because it's going to tell you that it's going to want to come back down and maybe turn this into support. And when it's there, I would look at this again. NPC, this is another one of the coins that you guys asked me to chart. I'm just going to go through all your coins quickly. I think there's three left. This one is a take profit coin. Okay, why? Not because it went up, but typically what is happening now is you can see that spending a great amount of time at the top, not doing anything. It's creating hidden bullish divergence. So it is bringing in more buyers. But if we lose this 23.6 area where it's at now, okay, with the current market sentiment, this thing can come back down and test these lows quite quickly. Okay, so I would rather, if you're in this, whoever, I can't remember the name of the person requested, I would use this as a sell. Okay, if we take gone and apply it, we went to the sell zone already, but nearest makes no difference in this instance, and we're very weak. We're very far from the red line. If you cross that line, you can hold for more. But at this stage, it is more looking like it wants to come back down. Okay, so sell a little bit. Take a little bit of profit. It's like the Ethereums and everything now. You sell now, and you've got more dry powder and funds to buy at the bottom. Okay, INJ, let's have a look at this one. I'm going to scale this one up to the weekly time frame. And on the weekly time frame, this should throw alarm bells your way. Okay, looking at this trend, it's still strong, it's intact. And looking at the RSI, you've got hidden bullish divergence. Okay, so it really wants to go and make higher highs. It's just not done. So this is probably going to adhere to the retail picture of what it needs to be. Chop around and wait for that trend line before it moves on. So this one is really strong, and it can surprise you maybe with a crazy pump to around $34 within the next week or so. Who's to say that it won't happen? But for me, I would look at this as still being massive bearish resistance, and any price above that needs to be considered as a sell, because you're going to run into some hidden bearish divergence pretty quickly, and it will probably come and test these alternative lows. So this one will still make, like some of the other alts, that alternative lower low buy. Okay, that's that one. And then here's token. Token got requested, so it's moving into a buy zone. So if you don't have any token and you maybe missed the launch or the initial pump, this is a really good area for you to start accumulating from an investment point of view. Trading wise, weekly time frame, I don't have much more to say. Consider these areas. It's nice quarter levels as well, for 5 cents, 7.5 cents. So from an auction theory perspective, that is right prices or right price brackets to start considering buying. And yes, there's, like I said, from the weekly, there's not a lot that I can use to TA on that one. Okay, and then this is the last one from your requests on my trading on my Twitter. And when you look at this, let's just do this. You can see that there's not a lot of liquidity. So I don't know why and the importance, but if you want to try and trade something like this, guys, just stay away. Okay. The exchanges do have a way to blend this out, but I mean, this is low liquidity stuff. So when I see something like this, I just leave. Okay. That's just my honest opinion. Okay. Over to the coins that I wanted to share with you guys. Let's quickly head over to your comments and then I want to share them. There's about 560 people joining in live. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. Remember to send in any requests. Head over to Discord. And lastly, the list that I'm going to share with you, these coins that I'm going to be looking at now, this list is shared with everybody in Discord. I shared this a while ago, actually, to be honest with you. There's the list. So these are the groupings of coins that I think that's got really high potential and are going to list in that 50x scenario. Now, that list, where everything is grouped, is in the Discord. And if you want access to that, Bybit allows you to get access to that without any cost to yourself. All you need to do is just support the channel. Open your Bybit account today. Have at least $100 worth of any crypto in that Bybit account. Go over to the Discord. Go to the navigation channel. Ask the bot to grant you access. All you need to do is type in your Bybit UID once you have everything, all those conditions met. And if so, the Bybit UID will immediately assign you the role that gives you the access, and you can come and join us on Discord. It's as simple as that, guys. It's going to change the way your portfolio performs. It's simple. Okay, back to the coins. Let's have a look. So the first one that I'm really interested in that I think has got really high payout potential for us is 1 inch. I see Yvonne is asking for Cardano. We're going to be looking at Cardano a little bit later. So stay tuned, Yvonne. Now, if we look at 1 inch and I zoom out, and I want to go back to the daily, actually the weekly time frame, because this is what makes this so significant. As you can see that this has not seen any real bull market success yet. So if I were to compare this to a Solana or something like that, Solana's already gone well. Ethereum's already gone well. They close to their previous bull market highs, where this has barely moved. So it tells you that the cycle of money still needs to find these coins. And like I said earlier, in the bull market, irrespective of the project, everything pumps, good or bad. That's the sign, the telltale sign of a bull market. We're not there yet. We're buying now for that. Okay. So this is one of those really good scenarios where I think 1 inch, it's established wallet. It's got a lot of historical charts behind it, and it's gone through its first bear market and it's still around. Now, this pricing and the way that it's looking at now, it went to our sell zone. It's respecting everything nicely, and it's now sitting in a situation where I feel like it's a really poised for a good buy. Okay. Alternative buy zone, the risk is it still goes low as 2 cents. So where we're at now, or 20 cents, sorry, 30 cents, 26, let's round it into simple numbers. This whole area here is still where the risk could be. But with the payout on this one is very simple. If I were to zoom this out, simply put, we're going to just move to close to bull market highs. You're already up 800%. That's good gains. And it's a big project in the sense, or a mid cap in the sense. So it's not going to disappear with your money. So it's a nice one where you can actually put enough funds in it for the risk. Think about it. I'll be more comfortable putting $1,000 into this and sitting on it for another year, as opposed to some new project that just got launched. I don't know what it's going to do. That's just me and the way that I will deploy the risk to this. So this has really got really good potential. Now, one of those that I'm not comfortable but does have really good technical possibilities is 3PU. Now, if you look at this, the RSI and everything is telling me that, hey, this is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. But once you take away the noise and you look at this from a closing point of view, okay, this thing has now got to a point where it's, I think, very exhausted. And the right time frame for this is probably not the monthly, but the daily time frame. Okay. You can look at this RSI. It's got a lot of chop, a lot of crazy. So you can see there's a lot of volatility behind this. But as soon as I start zooming in onto this price action, I feel like there's an opportunity for us to go and have a look at this for small buy. Small buy, okay? Yet again, take a little bit of funds today and deploy it in here. Just close your eyes and buy a little bit. That's all that I'm doing, taking $50 to $100. Because if that goes up 1,500%, you're good. And the way that I will be doing this, guys, and I'm sharing, this is the right time in the market for you to think like this. Once this thing doubles, once it goes to that 100%, okay, meaning I'm buying this here and I get to my 100%. Why is this thing? I hate trading view. I'm telling you, it's once I get to my 100%, means I've doubled my money. I sell half, and this whole ride is brought to you, compliments of this, for free. That's the mindset that I want to employ to this. So now you can do this, take the risk, have the right, wait for the entire end of the bull cycle, probably only end of next year, and it's for free. That's the way you need to think of this. Okay. Now, if I look at this from a pure Gann point of view, high to low, we're in the right area for strong bullish divergence to occur. Okay. Now, yet again, I can't really look at this on the higher time frame, but the way that it's just, maybe it's a gut feeling or anything like this, but the way that I'm looking at this as opposed to something else, this it really looks good. Okay. Now, AAVE is another one of those that I'm interested in. So it went to the interest zone, it bounced nicely. And if I scale this back up to the weekly time frame, you can look at this. See that there's a lot of gains to be had here. So AAVE does have, and it hasn't pumped yet. Okay, and it's still early. This is not even the all-time high price for this. Okay, so what do we see here? We were in a lateral range. We tried to turn this into support, and we went back to close to the mid area of the range. So it's a lot like the uni and the curve. We're going to be looking at those as well. So I'm liking this one for yet again. Time to buy a little bit and then sit on it and see what it does. Okay. Higher high, RSI is moving into the right side of the market. So we're trending up, guys. Okay. This thing is trending up. RSI is trending up. The divergence already occurred. The bottom's already, it's trying to move up. And it's doing it slow because if it went aggressively, you would start getting this hidden bearish divergence too hard and it smashes it down. But now that's played out and we're holding trend. So I'm liking this one. Okay. Here's another one I want to bring to your attention, guys. 2,500% on this one. And this is the buy zone for the continuation. Same type of scenario. Price has now kind of make a lower low, which is not what I wanted to see within this consolidation. But where we're at is we're filling in the imbalance. So I am happy to buy a little bit here and sit on that. 2,500% minimum. It's a simple one, guys. You take the money that you were willing to lose if you were to take a spot trade and buy a little bit now. And let's come back to it in a few months' time. Simple as that. Okay. ACS, another one, 700%. So if you have a look at this, RSI is coming down, price is coming down, but we're filling that imbalance. So we're in that imbalance zone. So risk takers, now's the time to take the risk. It's simple as that. We're filling that area. Okay. And this one does have really good high potential. Then there's a few other coins that I want to bring to your attention real quick. And these were ones that were in the sell zone. On that list these were all on the buy side. This is now the sell side list for that. And the ones that I want to bring to your attention is these ones. I just want to quickly scroll. It's a big list. So just give me a sec. There we go. Okay, so these ones are now early ones. I just want to bring to your attention. Okay, so I'm going to take away the noise, bring it right back, and let's start. So Apex was a sell for me. And you can clearly see, look at the divergence. Okay. And look at this. So if you want to get in on something that's got momentum, that's going to make you, this is a momentum play. And in this list is your ton as well, all those that's got momentum. So you've got strong bearish divergence, okay? It's there. But you ignore it until you lose that pivot. And we're getting close to that point. You can clearly see how price has been bouncing there. So there's demand there, okay? And the RSI made a lower low and price made a higher low. So you've got hidden bullish divergence on that. And you've got hidden bullish divergence on this. So if it wants to break out of this momentum, this is a nice one to make a quick buck on. It's still a sell coin, I don't want to try and get this to the moon, but that's the target that I want to try and get with this. Okay. Let's move to another one that I think has got real good potential. Let me just, I marked it and I moved it. And now I need to remember where I put it. I don't think it's on this list. It's maybe on this one. Give me a quick sec, guys. There we go. Right. So this is moving into the imbalance zone, guys. It's getting ready. So it's an AI play. So DeepIn is basically infrastructure for AI. So it's going to be big, but it's probably going to be big near the end of the bull cycle. So now's the time to start looking at these areas to plant some seeds. Okay. Then there's WorldCoin. Okay. It's as cheap as it should be. Any cheaper, then it becomes bearish. Okay. So it's a really good time to start grabbing some coins there. Okay. Then there's one more coin that I want to share with you guys. I'm going to look at the comments. And it's an important one. And now I forgot where I put it. Note to self, as you're moving the lists around, it's so many lists. Oh, come on, guys. I don't want to look at it. I had the name in my head and now I forgot about it. And somebody actually commented about this. So let's quickly, I saw it in the comment as well. And I don't want to go off topic. So where's that comment? There you go. Thank you, Jockey. Thank you, Jockey, for jocking my memory. Okay, so now I can go and find this. No, it's not this one. No. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Okay. We've been patient on this one, guys. We've been very patient on this one, and it's getting into the buy zone. Okay. This is another one that I think you need to be interested in. Look at that percentages. Okay. That's the play for this one. Okay. And it is now losing major support and it's making a hell of a lot of divergence. So now is the time. It's very close to that buy zone, like a few more percentages. $50, guys. I'm telling you now, $50. If you do that with $50, you're going to be smiling come end of bull cycle. You don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money in a bull market. Things are crazy. Okay. Now's the time to plant a little seed. Seeds are cheap. Buying a tree is expensive. Plant the seed now and let's see if it turns into a tree. Okay. Over to your comments. 661 people joining in live from all the various streams. We're streaming on 3 or 4 platforms. Cardano. Now, I love Cardano, Yvonne. But the price, I don't love. It's in the buy zone. It's in the alternative buy zone. So please, this is the risk that we had. Yeah, I said, don't sell into somebody else's buy zone. So Cardano is in the buy zone. It's got strong bullish divergence. It is exhausted. So it is cheap, but not just cheap, undervalued. Now, from a fundamental point of view, Cardano has been going, taking a lot of flack because it's slow implementing everything new. But unlike Solana's and the hype projects, it doesn't crash. Now, the worst thing that can happen to any Cardano now, if something were to go wrong like that, so you have risk. You have risk from this, and it's not sexy at the moment. So it's a good buy, but it's not sexy. People aren't raving over it. So it's a plant the seed moment, but don't expect massive returns just yet. Okay, the time will come because, like I said, bull markets have this way of doing this. And why is it not sexy? Well, simple. Cardano was so popular. And what did it do? What did it have to do now? It needed to fill the price because in the previous bull cycle, this imbalance was never tested. So it's fair to assume that price is now just sorting things out. It's still suffering from the success of the previous bull cycle. That's all. This thing went from 3 cents to $3. Okay. Insane pump. So it's suffering from that. Okay. So that's where patience needs to come in for this one. Okay. Hope that helps, Yvonne. Now let's see. TLOS. Spooky Seraphim. Okay. Interesting name. TLOS. Now, TLOS was one of our first sponsors, to be honest with you, sponsoring the channel. And the problem that we had with TLOS is that, it was sitting at $1 and we couldn't get people to, couldn't lie, say it's a good time to buy. And ultimately, it sold off. And what did TLOS do in the last spike? It filled the imbalance. That's all it's doing, guys. You need to remember that I'm not inventing these things. It's a repeat of a repeat of a repeat. So if you spend enough time staring at these candles, you know what the market will be doing. Okay, so that's all that it did. So it went to TP. Okay, so now where we're at is we're filling that same thing, but on a smaller time frame. Okay, and the problem that we have is the nature of how it got there. Big spike, big spike. So you don't have one, you've got two gaps. So it's either here or there. Now it already wicked to the upper end of this, and it created strong bullish divergence. Really good, really good. But the success of this, you can see, look at that RSI. It's going to run into hidden bearish divergence. So now you can run the next play and say, okay, right, if TLOS is strong and it is a bottom, your appetite for risk is going to be sitting right there at 18 cents. So that then becomes a buy again. So there's a really good opportunity. Risky, but if you want to plant a seed, you take it with a little bit of money and you plant the seed. And it should turn into a tree if this is the bottom. Okay. Let's see what else. We did Celestia already. I think in the previous stream, wasn't it? Let me just see if it's marked. I have been marking the coins that I shared. Where is this thing? It's going to be a little bit higher. Yeah, we did do Celestia. So just go and check the previous stream. Scooby Snacks, Celestia's in the previous video. And the crypto EMC frenemies in the Discord will probably have that time stamped as well pretty soon. So you should be able to have that there. Compliments of those guys. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? Learning a lot from the videos. I really appreciate the comment, guys. And same there from Renee. And yeah, it's nice spending time with you guys. It is Friday. It's 41 minutes in. I think it's time to call it a day. It's weekend. Don't rush entries. You don't need to rush these entries. Take your time. Be patient, guys. Conclusion. Bitcoin, if this is the demand that wants to hold, let's do this. Let's end the stream with this. If this is the demand that wants to hold, it becomes very simple. Buy when it tests that line. Pause the screen, copy these lines. What I will do as well, I'll make a trading view idea and just post the screen again. Something like this with the updated one there. So you can go and replicate the lines. So go over to trading view, follow me. I don't know how that works. And then you can copy the screen and follow with. Simple as that. There you have it. Brandewyn tyd. Yes, brandy time. So yeah, we're going to have a nice weekend, guys. The market is probably going to go and hunt for some liquidity over the weekend. So low liquidity times, you can expect a little bit of a running away before it comes back. And I would want to see that as opposed, because if we can have a little bit of a breakout, we can create a CME gap. And I'm tired of having these hidden CME gaps. We had one at the beginning of the week as well. When you have these hidden CME gaps, it's more of a continuation. So if we can move into this over the weekend, fill this out, that there's another CME gap, another hidden CME gap sitting right there. Okay. And that's where my buy is waiting. Okay. And subsequently, that's where I want to try and get my long-term swings from the coins on Bybit as well, guys. So most of these coins are Bybit coins. So you can go and get them there. And that's it. So that's it. That's my whole week. Anna, Vitaly, the rest of you guys have an amazing time. Thanks for spending time with me. Head over to Discord. You know the drill. Links, everything is there. Very few people actually ever go to the Discord. I don't know why. Maybe it is a barrier to entry. Maybe Discord is a bit of a problem. Let me know in the comments if you want me to maybe have a Telegram or something like that. We can always look at that as well. You have a lovely weekend, guys. Bye-bye. I'll keep hustling.
Subscribe now.